We're going to get started, but before we talk about market strategies and digital frameworks, I really want to tell you a little bit about building trust in my own life. So this is called From the Barbershops to the Browsers, How to Build Trust in the Digital Mortgage World. And this is not something, I don't think I'm going to tell you anything new today, but I might give you a little bit of a different perspective on how we do this. You see, I'm president of mortgage for Southern Bancorp Bank. We are a certified community development financial institution, or CDFI, if you will. And so we are specifically chartered to provide economic resources to underserved communities, rural communities, Black and brown families, LMI borrowers. That is our sweet spot. And let me tell you, all day long, all night long. You know that song? No, I'm not going to say that. That might not work right? But all I do is think about community outreach. It is my heart and soul. It's why I'm here today. It's why I'm in this business. So I do want to tell you a little bit about building trust and building communities and how we can use that to build a digital framework. We've seen all day long, you got to be digital or you're not. You don't exist, right? That phrase, like, if there's no picture, it didn't happen. That shit is real, y'all. If you don't have a picture, it didn't happen. So I don't know. We got to get into it, I guess. I mean, believe me, I kind of went kicking and screaming, but I'm there now. So come join me. I do want to talk to you a little bit about where trust was built in my own life. So I grew up in communities where the most important business wasn't done in boardrooms. Far from it, right? It was done in barbershops or beauty shops. It was done in church on Sunday mornings and in corner stores where everybody knew your name. That's the kind of neighborhood I grew up. And I grew up in a really poor neighborhood, so I know if we had it, everybody had it. Because if we had it, literally everybody else already had it. That's how it was. Those were the places where you spoke freely, you shared honestly, and trusted the voices around you. So today, my goal is simple: to show you how those same spaces of trust can live and thrive in the digital mortgage world. So when people saw the title of this presentation, From the Barbershop to the Browser, how many of you thought, what the hell does a mortgage have to do, or what the hell does a barbershop have to do with a mortgage conference? Well, if you've ever been in a barber chair, I'm pretty sure you already know it's about a lot more than a haircut. Who takes care of your hair? Who takes care of your spiritual needs? These are places where it's about trust. It's about consistency, and it's the conversations that keep people coming back again and again. And isn't that exactly what we're trying to build in the mortgage industry? So today we'll talk about how these same principles work, not just in the barber chair, but online, on your phone, and everywhere people are searching for answers. So, ooh, that's really small over here. Listen, we're going to come over here. What are y'all looking at? There we go. How about that? Today, we'll explore how the barbershops, pulpits, and corner stores trust framework can live and thrive in a digital mortgage world. So in every community, people still buy from people they trust, right? That hasn't changed, but where that trust is built really has changed. And the framework for how that trust is built changes a lot, or has changed a lot. So why start with barbershops and corner stores at a mortgage conference? Because they remind us of something that we sometimes forget. I think I skipped one. People don't trust institutions. They trust people, right? We all know that. 73%, nearly 3/4 of Americans distrust financial institutions. And the mortgage industry, we don't get a pass. However, 86% of proposed borrowers want a personal recommendation. We're living in an era where people distrust financial institutions more than ever. And the mortgage industry is maybe close to the top of that list, unfortunately. That's why authentic connection is your competitive advantage. How many people have heard that today, right? We've heard that from so many speakers today. Authenticity, be authentic. But what I want to tell you is that people don't really remember the first ad they saw. They remember the first person that made them feel heard. So whether that be in a barbershop, having a conversation with that community, or on LinkedIn, posting an educational series about home ownership and how to achieve such. Barbershops, pulpits, and corner stores. These three spaces are community institutions of trust where business happens as a byproduct of relationships. That's the mindset we need online as well. So barbershops teach us to listen. How many of you grew up going to a barbershop or a beauty salon when you were a kid? So when I was young, my grandfather, Pa Bill used to take me to the barbershop all the time. And listen, Pa Bill was a bald man. And I'm not talking about the cool, sleek heads I see at this conference today. I'm talking about, I know, I'm not talking about that. I mean, that's like, new, trendy, sexy bald. No. My Pa Bill had that side hair action happening. And let me tell you, he worked it for all it's worth, but wasn't worth much. So that haircut should have taken, 10 or 15 minutes. We were in that shop for hours. And it was quite my pleasure, I guess, as a young kid, to sit in that shop and watch community happen. So again, he wasn't really there for the haircut. He was there for the conversation. He was there for the community. And every once in a while, I had the distinct pleasure of watching someone in that shop get vulnerable. Maybe talk about life's challenges they were going through, talking about struggles or something that had gone terribly wrong in their day or in their week. And it would occasionally equal the privilege of watching the people in that room propose solutions, give advice, even specifically offer a helping hand. That is exactly what we must translate online. The pulpit. I love the pulpit because values shared in a pulpit are not marketing. They're ministry. And your online presence is your personal ministry. Creating a foundation of trust through consistent, value-driven messaging. Do I have any marketing folks in here? Consistent, value-driven messaging. Is that important at all? Nah. Lindsay says that's not important. The corner store. Okay, the corner store is where everyday convenience needs accessibility happen. Building trust through consistent presence and service. Do we have a marketing pitch there too, maybe? So now we're value-driven messaging with consistent presence and service. I'll tell you, when I was a kid, my Aunt Teresa owned the little corner store across the street from my elementary school. So when the 10-minute bell would ring at the end of the day, I would run across the street to her shop. Now I had a ulterior motive, of course, because I wanted a snack and a soda, but I'd run across the street and I'd belly up behind the bar of her shop, or sometimes stand there at the front door and just watch the life happen in and out of that shop. It is an example of community too. Parents would come into her little shop on their way to pick up their kids for a snack or a soda. During the summer, when I would go help her, aggravate the crap out of her, really. But I would go assist her in her shop. And all summer long, blue-collar workers were in and out. Construction workers, truck drivers. They would come in at lunch, and they'd order their favorite sandwich, usually the house favorite. So listen, y'all, this take me back. I get chill bumps. The house favorite was called a chuck wagon. Do y'all know what a chuck wagon is? Nobody. Okay, so listen. In the South, where I am from, all right, y'all, In the South, a chuck wagon is a breaded pork tenderloin sandwich. Yes, it is fried. I mentioned I'm from the South. That's where this come from. All right. It is served on plain white bread. When you put a fried piece of meat in between two slices of room temperature white bread and take a bite out of it, y'all know what happens, right? That sandwich becomes nearly permanently affixed to the roof of your mouth. Notice there were no fried chuck wagon sandwiches served at lunch today, or we would not be here. You had to pry that off. My Aunt Teresa loved that corner store. She loved the people that came into that corner store. She knew every last person that walked in. She knew them. She knew their neighbor. She knew if they were trying to buy a house, if their kids were leaving for college. She knew the women that came in there so well. She knew when they were pregnant before their husbands did. That did create some problems occasionally, and I did enjoy being behind the bar on those days. But I will tell you, on multiple occasions, I watched my Aunt Teresa. Oh, I'm running out of time. I gotta go. I watched my Aunt Teresa put that extra gallon of milk in the bag, the extra, half pound of deli meat in a bag, because she knew a family was struggling. That is community, and that's the extra bit of real life we got to put into our online presences. Translating trust online. All of the things I just described are things that we can easily translate to online. Barbershop conversations, easy translation into Facebook groups, community forums, and Reddit AMAs. I have to admit, I did have to go find a Reddit AMA after I decided I need to include Reddit to look like I was cool enough to know what Reddit was. Public pulpit sermons. Listen, pulpit sermons are thought leadership videos, LinkedIn articles, podcast appearance. It's your chance to be the person with the ideas that need to be shared. Remember, we're not selling anything, right? Corner store convenience. This is easy. Everything is mobile. Quick tip videos, text support. I always tell people, if somebody DMs you a question about housing or mortgage, answer them quick and answer them well, because it tells them exactly how you will treat them as a borrower, as a customer. Community events that have been happening in our industry for years all across this country. Those community events are now webinars, virtual workshops, and live streams that not only get you in a room, but then create a much larger online audience. And perhaps the most important of all of these, word of mouth referrals. We just talked about 86% of potential borrowers want a personal recommendation. There are only so many people that you can talk to, but when you share an online review or a home buyer success story online, you just created a way to get a personal recommendation off of your social media posts. The barbershop approach. Pull up a chair. We're going to go quick. Join local Facebook groups. Participate in conversations around community issues, not just housing. Remember, we're not selling anything here. And respond to comments personally. Please, for all that is good, like a chuck wagon sandwich, do not use AI-generated responses. Please, you cannot be that intrigued or consider something that insightful in a day. So insightful. Love this so much. Really? Come on, we can do better. We must do better. The pulpit approach, this is my favorite one, because this is where you get to be their advocate. You get to share information about fair housing, about access to housing. Whatever your specialty is, mine would almost always be about community development, community outreach. opportunities for underserved markets. Whatever yours is, 3 examples for how you can translate that and be the industry expert that people are looking for. Remember, we're not selling anything. This is about financial literacy. This is about highlighting homeownership success stories and building personal recommendations right on your social media pages. The corner store approach, it's quick, it's accessible, it's friendly, it's everywhere. Corner stores everywhere. What this is doing is building the hybrid trust model. So in-person connection, like barbershop conversations, for example, or home buyer seminars. Create an opportunity for you to take pictures, share videos, answer questions on site, and then create digital follow-up, right? Digital follow-up equals personalized engagement. It gives you the opportunity to go back to them and say, I heard you, I care about what questions you asked, and I'm here for you. That personalized engagement is what actually creates an ongoing relationship for you. This gives your social media platform legs. This gives your personal recommendations wings. This is where old school meets new school. Real world example, church workshops that you record into digital resources. Barbershop conversations. I really do love this, and I've done it a few times. Like just this past summer, my team, we sponsored a back to school haircut day where you come in to get your kids' haircut before they go back to school. We pay for the haircuts, but in the meantime, we answer questions. We shake hands, we kiss babies. Really, there were no babies to kiss, but we provided school supplies that day, and of course, we answered a bunch of questions on video, and we turned all of that into digital content. Corner store partnership. Partnering with corner stores, we call them stop and robs in Tennessee. You won't go to the stop and rob right down there? Listen, those are the places where you can make some stuff happen. It could be as simple as getting the owner to agree to let you hang up a poster with a QR code on it, or you can go real deep. A couple of years ago in Birmingham, Alabama, my team and I, actually just a couple of LOs talked me into this, and I will tell you, I did not want to stand in a corner grocery store all day, but it turned out to be one of the greatest experiences. So we partnered with a corner store in Birmingham, Alabama, where we just made a deal. That corner store owner let us set up a table, talk about mortgage, answer mortgage questions, figure out like where people are renting, how much you paying in rent, how much has your rent gone up in the last few years, right? We're talking about all these things. In exchange, we let the corner store clerk run a tab on us. So this is how that looked. If somebody came in and it happened to be one of those people in the community struggling, instead of ringing up their groceries or whatever they were buying and giving them the bill for it, they put that on us. If somebody needed that extra sandwich, needed that, they're buying a quart of milk when we could easily see they needed a gallon of milk. Well, we couldn't see it. The corner store clerks, y'all, they know. They are the original community lender. But they put that stuff on us. So at the end of the day, we spent a few $100s, and we had access to dozens and dozens of community conversations all day long. We did that every couple of weeks for an entire summer. By the end of that summer, we weren't the bankers coming to visit anymore. We were the neighbors. And the content that we had to share digitally, the trust that we built in that community just from hanging out of the corner store. Classiest thing I ever did, y'all. It worked. Trust is platform agnostic. It really is. Whether it's the hum of the clipper, I should remember this off the top of my head. I shouldn't have to read it as many times as I said it. Whether it's the hum of the clippers, the warmth of a Sunday sermon, or the ding of a phone notification, the trust you build transcends the medium. People don't care where the information's coming from. They care that you care. that you paid attention, that you addressed it to them, and they'll come back. Thanks for joining my TED Talk. This is not a TED Talk. Don't sue me. Follow me on LinkedIn at jeremydavisfactor.com. Thanks so much for letting me be here. Michael, this was awesome.